using Nexte and Dual Scope, and like I haven't seen him for ages. But after a few months, I actually met him. This is my goal, and this is what I want to do, and did the mini presentation to convince my mom. Alright, hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry my hair is so messy. So it's halfway through. I'm gonna finish it right now. So today, the previous video that I did a video all in English. It seems like you guys really enjoyed my English speaking videos. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do another English video. Because I'm an English otaku, I think I have loads of things to talk about if it's in English. So let me talk about something about English. I'm sorry, it's so random. Okay, so let me talk about when I was in high school. I was in a special course where it's focusing on English study, and the course allows us to study abroad for like 10 months in New Zealand because my English level at that time was like quite low. I would say that was Eiken Junnikyu level. I was in a local college where like everyone else literally could speak English perfectly. They're native. There are some Maori people who are like indigenous people. Some students could speak Maori, which I didn't understand. There's no Japanese people there. I'm sorry. 3 Japanese people in my college, but we're not allowed to speak in English. I mean, speak in Japanese, and which we didn't want it to, actually. I was like really determined not to speak English, not to speak Japanese. I'm sorry, I'm making the same mistakes again and again. But yeah, I honestly didn't want to speak Japanese at that time to improve my English, and every single moment I was like, okay, I'm focusing on English for this year because that is the reason why I'm here. I would say, yeah, 2016 when I was in New Zealand, that was the hardest year I've ever experienced. I'm not joking. I wouldn't say it's easy to study grammar or like memorize all the vocabularies by myself when I was in Japan, but like that was a lot harder while I was in New Zealand and going to college every single day, interacting with like many people who are teenagers and try to make new friends there, try to build a good relationship with like everyone else there. Especially like even in Japan, high school life is quite difficult and it's universal. It's not only a matter in Japan, but also like while I was in New Zealand, it was the same. It was really hard to make friends for me. I'm an extrovert person. I like to communicate with new people and I like to hang out in groups and stuff. Once I went to New Zealand, because my English level was quite low at that time and I couldn't really speak or I couldn't really understand what other people were saying, I was like being very quiet. Like whenever people ask me like, how do you feel? Why did you come to New Zealand? Like, what do you like? Or like, tell me about your country, you know, all that kind of things. And I couldn't really answer. I couldn't even understand what the question was. But deep down in myself, I have tons of things that I wanted to say. But in English, words didn't come up and like, I didn't know how to like, you know, piece together all those like vocabularies into sentences, and I didn't want to make mistakes. And before I actually practiced speaking, I already learned some like basic grammar when I was in the first grade in high school. So I know this is wrong and this is right, which actually bothered me to speak English because when I'm like talking, I can actually realize, I made a mistake right now. This was wrong and I need to fix it and all that kind of thing. But it's impossible for me at that stage to speak perfectly, like not making mistakes in any grammar and speak perfect English. That was impossible, but like I didn't understand. I wasn't aware of what I should do, like which area I should focus on at that time. So I was like focusing on literally everything. I was like focusing on pronunciation, grammar, vocabularies, and like how to react normally, you know. There's like Japanese reaction and like Western reaction, you know what I mean? For example, you drop your water bottle, and then if it's in Japanese, I would say, ごめんなさい, you know, すいません、落としました. But it's in English, I would say, oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm okay. You know, like the reaction is really different. At that time, I was kind of like learning how to react in the Western way. So when it comes to English learning, there are several factors that you have to acquire. Most of the time, the reason I couldn't catch what people were saying is because my lack of vocabulary. You know, after 3 months, after 4 months, my mom sent me emails. Hi Miyu, how are you? How's your English going? And it's like I couldn't actually say that I was confident enough in my English skill and I wasn't happy with my English progress and everything. By the time I go back to Japan, a lot of people around me would say like, welcome back Miyu, like can you speak English? Show me how much you progressed and stuff. I was pretty sure that people would ask me that kind of questions and I should be able to like show them how much I have improved after like spending 10 months in New Zealand. And that was like one of my goals. But after 5 months or after 6 months have passed, it's like, oh my gosh, I still cannot understand what my friend says. Everyone speaks so fast and my speaking skill is still very slow. And I didn't even have a chance to talk while I was in the group, like girls group. We're having lunch together, 7 or 8 girls all together in the group and we were having lunch. Because they were speaking so fast, like maybe like 2 or 3 groups in there. And then like sometimes my friends, they were asking me like, how do you feel me? What do you think me? It was like, oh, I didn't understand, I didn't catch that, what was that, what was this, and then they had to explain me what they were talking about again, and then after that they asking me like what do I think, and I have to process what kind of vocabulary I have to use and stuff, and then they have to wait for me to process everything and then say what I think, and then it takes for a while. I think it's so annoying for them to like explain it again, wait for me to like say my opinions, then it takes like a few minutes, right? But if it's not me, if it's like some other girls, it doesn't take much. Like it happens like right away. What do you think? Oh, I think this and blah blah blah, and then the conversation goes on and on and on. And I think it's how the conversation grows and how it's like starting to have energy in it. Every time I speak, I felt like I'm actually stopping the mood, the vibe. I'm the one who's actually lowered the energy level in the conversation, if it makes sense. I felt so sorry every time I speak in a group. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, it's taking for so long. And then after I went back home, I opened up my vocabulary book and grammar textbooks and studied very hard, because while I was in school I was exactly like that, very slow, didn't even understand, always like asking my friends like what it means. I will tell you the truth, even after spending 10 months like that, for real, I didn't speak Japanese for the 10 months. I didn't bring my phone to New Zealand, which was like our school rule. We're not allowed to bring your cell phone. The teachers are saying like if you have your smartphone with you, maybe you're gonna call your family or friends, or you're gonna look at the social media all the time, which is all in Japanese, and it's not really good for you guys to improve your English. So this was like a part of school rules. I shut down all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, even like lines and everything. I haven't spoken Japanese for so long. After 10 months, I arrived in Japan. Of course, I could speak English much better than before, but I couldn't understand the listening material from Eiken Jun-ikkyu. Too difficult. I wasn't really sure that I could pass Eiken Jun-ikkyu at that time. So after spending almost 1 year without listening to any Japanese, without using any Japanese, it's still hard. I wanted to understand it. And after 10 months, I also took TOEIC. My score at that time was only 735. It's going to be a really long journey. I know a lot of people are saying I took TOEIC 730 点. I took TOEIC 800点, TOEIC 900点 after only like 2 or 3 months. There are some people who are like genuinely talented in learning English, but maybe I'm not. I'm not the one who's talented in learning English. It takes for a while. Since I started learning English, it's been already 10 years. The time I started learning English, I was 10 years old, right? And I'm 24. So it's been 14 years since I've started learning English. I'm sorry about the birds. Shut up. Sorry about the bird's noise, but it's always there. When I was in New Zealand, studying abroad in New Zealand was the hardest time. And then after that, I came back to Japan. It was Koko-san desai. Of course, I had to study a lot for entrance examination for university, right? So I was like thinking, oh, maybe I want to go to this university. And then I asked my mom, and my mom said, oh, this is in Tokyo. This is expensive because it's a private school and we cannot afford that fancy university. It's like, oh, okay. So my option was to go to a public school, which means I have to study 5 subjects: mathematics, English, Japanese, social studies, biology, and chemistry, like science fields. And you know what? Because I skipped all the necessary study that I was supposed to study in my Koko 2年生, because I was in New Zealand and learning different things in that curriculum, I had to study like 2 years of Japanese curriculum in just 1 year, which is insane. I got the Sekaishi textbook and I got the Sugaku 2BA textbook after I came back to Japan. And it was already January, alright? So 1 year only to study everything. I could understand English, but most of my English skill that I acquired while I was in New Zealand was like speaking and listening. So I wasn't really confident enough when it comes to vocabularies and grammars, you know. The entrance exam that I took at that time was a sentashiken, right? You have multiple questions and then you have to check which answer is correct. But when it comes to reading, writing, grammar, that's not the thing that I learned in New Zealand. I still had to study. And at that time, I was using Nexte and Dualscope and Wizu for vocabulary book. But yeah, when I was 高校3年生, I haven't spoken English like at all. Of course, I really wanted to practice my English. I had literally no time to do it because I didn't want my English level to be faded away after not practicing 1 year. But luckily I passed. I entered university, which was Kokusaika. The department that my major was like, I don't even know what my major was, to be honest. I chose my university quite randomly because all I wanted to do while I was in uni was to study abroad again and study English. So I wasn't like really focusing on which major I studied. I wasn't interested in any lectures in Japan. I was actually already planning to go abroad. Also thinking like which university should I go as an exchange program. So my interest and my, attention was all university abroad and not in Japan. But I'm pretty sure that I learned English and like linguistics and stuff. I was also learning communication, international communications and linguistics and English, and basically something related to literature. I also did a lot of part-time jobs to earn more money to study abroad. So when I was in the second grade, like 大学の2年生ってなんて言うんだっけ? Forgot. Like, I don't know, I forgot the word, like sophomore. 大学2年生, okay? While I was in 大学2年生, I went to Cebu. That was like an exchange program that is available from my university, so I took it. And then I studied for IELTS because I needed IELTS score to go to the university that I wanted to go. I really wanted to go there, but the university was really popular among the uni students. I really needed the IELTS score as high as possible. So that's why I went to Cebu. Literally studied every single day, like from the morning till the very late at night. And that's why I could get 7.5 after studying abroad in Cebu, which means I could go to the university that I wanted to. And I was like really prepared myself. Okay, I have the IELTS score, I have prepared my money, and everything was all set. I was quite ready to study abroad. But after that, COVID hit and my study abroad was cancelled. Honestly, didn't even know what to do for the rest of the year. What I was planning was like studying abroad in the US, gain more like better English skill. And after I come back to Japan, I haven't planned that much, but like I wanted to find a job that actually impresses my mom. Okay. That was my goal. I wasn't really interested in any like specific fields or like industries or company. But my criteria always depends on my mom, like what my mom thinks. So I just wanted to find a job that actually wows her. Because of the lockdown, I had to stay in the house doing nothing. I was actually doing koya kodo, and also I was like watching Netflix. I was like a lazy girl at the time because everyone else was actually like that during the lockdown time. Everyone else like quite being lazy, doing nothing. So I wasn't really worrying about myself. But I met a guy, he was also from the same university. Most of the lectures from the university all went online. But he wasn't in the lecture, he wasn't in the course. Like I haven't seen him for ages. But after a few months, I actually met him and he was quite different. I remember I was really shocked when I met him. I was like, are you actually the same person like few years ago? I was really surprised because the way he talks, the way he behaved, or like the word choice, he was actually speaking in Japanese, not in English, but the word choice or like the topics that he was talking about was all very high level. I would say I didn't understand. He was actually using so many technical words in Japanese. It was all related to maybe business, because he was like launching new business by himself. He was already a CEO of his own company. Wow, you're in still university, right? You haven't graduated yet, and then you are CEO of your own company. Wow, that seems so impressive. And like how he behaves, and like his like atmosphere and everything was totally different. I couldn't believe he was the same person. So cool. Okay, it wasn't like a romantic way. I was like really impressed. as a person. I really respected him. And I actually wanted to be like him. He actually inspired me to change myself. Especially I didn't have any like specific goal at that time. I was like, what's it called? Like bibitto kita? Wow, that's exactly what I want to do. So I started searching what I can do to have my own business. So that's the incentive of my English career. That's the beginning of my business career. And after that, I started my Muryo Juku, which is an online English lesson that I offered random people, whoever wants to take my lessons completely for free. That was quite fun. Like everyone like seems to enjoy my lesson, and it actually gives me really good vibe to, you know, like study harder. That was like exactly a kickstart for me doing this like English teaching job. I actually really like that teaching job, and I actually decided I'm not gonna do job hunting. I actually did a mini presentation to my mom. I made a slide with my PowerPoint, and then putting the laptop on the table, I called my mom. Hey mom, I have something to talk to you. And then in front of my mom, I did a mini presentation. I'm not gonna do job hunting. I'm gonna start my own business, and the business model will be like this and this and this. This is my goal, and this is what I wanna do. And did the mini presentation to convince my mom. I just didn't want her to be like, no, you cannot do it, or like I'm not gonna be supportive if you go into that career path and anything. I just wanted her to be in the same page as me. Surprisingly, she was like, yeah, sounds exciting. You can do it. It's like, oh, that was really a quick answer. I was really surprised. I thought she was gonna ask me a lot of questions like what am I gonna do with this and this and that, but she was like quite calm, and she was like, yeah, I think you can do it. It sounds interesting. Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay. Thanks, mom. Yeah, she was really supportive even after that, because I didn't know anything about business. To be honest, I didn't know anything. The reason why I started my own business is not like I knew everything or like I knew the basic knowledge. No, I didn't know anything. But I just, because of him, the guy who I met in the university, because he gave me the inspiration, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I want to do it. So that was the only reason I started. I would say that was a really scary choice. But I'm glad that I took that choice. I'm glad that I made the decision at that time, because that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing YouTube channel. So I'm really, really grateful for my choice that I made at that time. So after that, I kept doing the Muryo Juku, like the group online lesson, and alongside I started to do the individual lessons. Yeah, that's how I started. I named my own school, Oshaberi, Gogak School Oshaberi. And I spent 2 years doing that job. And I was actually thinking, because of the COVID, people got more and more used to be online. People were not really hesitant to go online. And I was actually thinking, oh, I think I can have more students outside of my local town, even like outside of Japan. I already have students from America who's studying abroad. So my business started to be like wider and wider. It started to expand more and more. So that was when I started TikTok channel, I guess. And I was like, okay, TikTok. That's a great way to start. If I post videos in English, or maybe like 100 people would watch, and then if they like it, then they will leave the comment. If they don't like it, or if they think my English sucks, maybe they would actually put the comment. And even though like no one would comment on my video, I can be under pressure. Someone else is watching, so I have to speak properly, or like I have to think about my pronunciations and everything. And that was really, really good pressure. I liked it actually. So that's why I posted some videos. But the fourth video, I don't know, like the fifth or fourth video that I posted on the TikTok, that went viral, like that boosted so fast. I was really surprised. I still remember that I was like actually looking at my TikTok channel, and then the number of the viewers like expanding so fast, like 1,000, 2,000, like it went millions. Was like, what the heck? What's going on? I gained more and more followers every single day, and then every time I post videos onto TikTok channel, everyone's watching it so quickly. I got so many comments. It's like growing so fast, you know? Of course I got a lot of good comments, but at the same time I also got some like judgmental comments, which are like, oh, your pronunciation is really bad, you shouldn't be teaching English. I hate when Japanese people who cannot speak perfect English teach English in front of people. Like, it really gives me a headache and stuff. I was like, ooh, scary. But then again, that's what I wanted, okay? As I told you, I wanted a legit, honest opinion on my English so that I can be aware of my actual level of my English. I was living in a very, very countryside. People surrounding me, pretty much, they cannot speak English, like, at all. Whenever I speak English in front of those people, they'll go like, oh, your English is perfect. I knew that wasn't perfect. If I speak English to not people surrounding me, but people all around the world, how well my English is, I just wanted to know. I just wanted to make sure, like, what level I was. And then getting those comments saying, oh, your pronunciation is wrong, I don't like your pronunciations, or you're making mistakes in this grammar and everything. They gave me so many feedbacks, and I really, really appreciate it. It really helped me improve my English. I get some comments asking me like, how did you practice your pronunciation? How is it possible if you're not really spending time abroad? How is it possible to speak English like you? I would say it's because of the people commented me very, very honest opinion about my English. It didn't really disappointed me because I knew if my English is perfect enough, if my English is really good, then those people would never ever leave that kind of comments. I took it as a very, very honest opinion. Oh, thank you so much. I really want to fix it. How can I fix it? What did I do wrong? I started to actually thinking about it. This is actually a really, really good method, I guess. You just have to have courage to get feedback. Because feedback is a good thing, okay? People spend 3 or 5 minutes to write a comment on your channel. You have to appreciate it, I guess. I really appreciate it. I think that video was filmed 2 years ago. The English level right now, my English level have been skyrocketed. I think I have improved my English pretty well since that time. I think I've talked too much. Okay, I just started this very spontaneously. I wasn't planning to speak this long, but hope you enjoyed. This is my overall background of my English journey. I love searching a better way to practice English, and I'm going to keep you updated if I find magical special way to practice English. I will definitely post on YouTube channel and share it with you guys. Hopefully you will enjoy the next video that I will post in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Love you!